I came across a video the other day on Instagram, and it was this lady speaking about why do we give so much credit to women as the life bearers? Now, wait guys, it's gonna make sense. She says, basically, if men are the ones with the seeds and they implant it in us to create life, technically, doesn't that make men the life givers? We are the life bearers. Yes, we bring children into the world, and we're like the tree, effectively, in it, because we carry the seeds, we let it turn, we bear the fruit. But someone had to plant the seed, otherwise there would have been nothing in the first place. So why? And then she also spoke and asked why women are so what was the term she used? Why they're so
I can't remember.
Not aggressive, like the ownership kind, why they're so possessive over the children, in the sense of it being like they're mine, I created them, I gave life. And it's like, we do, and this is not to take or to discredit women, because that process, someone has been through it, that process and that journey, you guys definitely got the shorter end of it. The job for the men may be simpler or easier. When I say simpler, as in it's just a bit more straightforward, as in you need to implant the seed. Unless there's any actual issues with that in itself, whether it be on his end or on her end. If we just go by a generic system of there being no issues, the job for the man is to implant the seed, which is a shorter process than the bearing of the child, which is a less intricate process as well. Because
what do you mean by intricate again? What does that mean?
So it's like the finer details. There's a lot more to it. It's not just a simple. There's the fine details that kind of all go into it. And
changes.
So you've got with a man, yes, it could be the moment, it could be how easy it is for him to release. It could be impotence and all those things, or again, it could be on the female's end of how easy that job is. But if we look at it fundamentally, his job is to implant the seed. Once he's done that bit, his part of it in the process of bringing that life to it is done. Whereas for a woman, she's got to carry that child through a whole process of how many months. Anything can happen in that stage. So whether it be through neglect of herself, whether it just be unfortunate circumstances, you've got hormonal changes, you've got foods that can affect you, you've got environments that can affect you. However, and I'm gonna say we as women again, twice now in one day, what we tend to, and we as women, but I think people as a whole, because I think even maybe I'm going out on a limb here saying a lot of men may not realize this as well. The environments that men are in also have a large impact on the life or the bringing to life of a child. So we know about things like smoking and all of that. Yes, it can harm you during pregnancy, but how much a man smokes affects him. How much he drinks affects him. What he eats. Basically, anything you put into yourself affects on male and female, because that all affects everything that happens to his seed prior to it being released. So if everything he's got is low energy, low vibrational, low food, if everything's negative, trust me, what she doesn't know is you got a negative little sperm zone up in you right now. And then if you're harboring anything negative, you now got a lot of negativity even being brought into this child, and that's without knowing. So as I said, the physical job is a lot harder for us as women.
I think I've got an understanding of why things are how they are, or why women see it how they do. I'm just guessing, really, but I think I do know why. Alright, so you could say that, when a woman gives birth, that's the big bang. That's that's the moment.
Yeah.
And I can't necessarily disagree with that at all. But what I can say is, when you make that more important than the many processes prior to that, it becomes a problem, because that moment overweighs or overshadows everything else. Now, the man has to be in a certain state of being in order for him to deliver what he must for that thing to, you know?
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Now, when we go back to, you know, what we've been taught in school or by our like parents about sex ed and all this kind of stuff, I don't really think that the importance of a man having himself in the right condition to deliver that seed gets spoken about.
I don't think
enough.
mentioned. No, not enough. It doesn't get mentioned.
And that's the problem. So when we speak about that, we completely shut out what a man must do in order for him to be able to even deliver that seed, and not just that seed, a healthy seed. Remember, we're in a system that is a virus. It promotes nothing but fuckery. So with that fuckery, you're never really gonna get the full context of what actually has to happen, or it doesn't really highlight the stakes of or the importance of what has to happen in order for things to run smoothly. So even when you do deliver that seed as a man to your woman, it don't just stop there.
Sorry, can I interject before you make the next point? Only just off of what you're saying. With that, I think, like you said, it being eliminated, if you take the example of how many people have been in relationships where they've both had unprotected sex, yeah, when I say unprotected, I mean no form of contraception. She's not on no pill, no nothing, yeah. Her body biologically is working fine, his body biologically working fine, he's ejaculated in her, she never falls pregnant. Why does things like that happen? And that's from both ends. Right. And they could go off with separate partners and boom, he's got that one pregnant, she's fallen pregnant. It's that energy and like you were saying, being in that place. So when I said earlier, and I said it's a straightforward process, that's if you're in the right place. But then you've got some people, it'll happen by accident straight away. It's them being in that place as well as physically. Right,
so it also goes back to things that I've said prior. When you do deliver that seed to your other half, you know what's as important as getting yourself right, making sure that you can show up for her in the right way when she's going through that process. Because that is imperative also. Because that has an effect.
I was going to say, yeah.
And I guess my point is that the entire process between a man and a woman from that point to that point is imperative. There is no eliminating or minimalizing any part of that process, because it's all imperative. You will teach us about English, science, maths, PE and all this shit, but you'll never tell us the importance of what it's like to be with a woman as a man, vice versa.
And that's done.
And that is where the issue lies. They do not tell us what we need to know, and it goes back to what I said back then. I said, we're out here playing these games, and they have intentionally robbed us of the knowledge to where we know that these things that we're taking part in are imperative, crucial. You can't miss a beat.
It's a seesaw, right? And it's 1 minute men of this, 1 minute women of this, 1 minute, and it's like sometimes, you know, when you seesaw and you jump off,
someone goes
and then you
flying.
get hurt in the process.
Yeah.
But we haven't learnt the scale of balance in terms of like the parallel process of honouring each other in your processes. So I don't ever hear women talk about the emotions, and obviously if men were honouring the woman, they have to understand, I have to learn how to hold space because she's going through changes, right? But then on the other hand, you will hear men talk about, rah bro, she's crazy. She's moving mad. She's getting angry over this, crying over this. So they have to bear a different type of brunt. Because if men was moving like that, they'll be like, why are you moving like a girl for?
Yeah.
So it's all this talk. That's the problem. The talk is the problem. The talk. And it's sometimes it's triggering things. It's like, okay, or what they call gaslighting. You're gaslighting me. You shouldn't have this baby if you couldn't handle it, and all these little things. But really, you should both be honouring, okay, the fact that, as you said, and like that decision to go on that journey, the fact that before you even get there, the man has to say to himself, should I be letting go of my seed? Because we get taught to drain ourselves of that life force energy anyway. Do you get what I'm saying? Because we don't get taught to, okay, maybe indulge in the sex, but don't let go of the seed. We haven't been taught to even transfer that inside.
Something else.
And you're like,
that's it.
If I've been draining my life force through bashing all sorts of things, bro,
for an eternity,
any other forms,
what chance do I have when it comes to like actually now I'm ready to really show up for you healthily? Because I've been draining my life source anyway. So even if I wanted to show up, because I've drained my life source and I don't even have self-control within myself, how can I have self-control with you? Because I haven't done it with myself.
When's the last time that I went and even pennied the thought? Or when's the last time that I even went and found out whether there was a place where I could go and check and see if my sperm was healthy?
Yeah, even that.
100.
But yet they'll be told to go and do like other sexual things, like check if you've got diseases, check if you've got this and that, but not check if you just. And it's only if there's an issue with fertility. That's when.
Should there have to be an issue for me to go and see
your health, your level of health?
That's the conditioning. So it's like, so it's with